Alright, welcome to another episode of Minneapolis by Night. This is the vampire venue. This is specifically just a pure social scene, even though I'm here. I'm here more to introduce some other NPCs and, put some other faces out there because, let's be honest, I'm tired of playing the same goddamn characters. So it's going to take place at the Gilded Swan, which is a Torador-owned bar and lounge, but it's not in Elysium. They own tons of bars, lounges, and entertainment centers, so no big surprise there. This one, just for everybody's common knowledge, it is not owned by Andreas. It is owned by the Torador themselves. So
Cool.
technically, he kind of has say in it, but not really, because it's actually owned by another Torador that isn't in the city anymore. So
Blake is not pissed off at this corridor, so it's fine.
It's a middle class bar lounge area. I mean, it's not upper end and it's not lower end either. It's kind of in between. It's got some nice stuff. Clientele, thankfully, is more middle class. I mean, there are some others, but basically, as you guys all walk in, perception alertness to pick up on.
You're making me have to roll dice in an RPG.
Yes, I know. What an asshole. God. I'm such an asshole.
Hey, Charles.
What?
Did you want me to go on the floor of the test? So this might be another floor.
Oh, that's the wrong picture.
A perception alertness. That is.
I know I'll wait till everybody rolls.
Yeah, Will, can you roll me 5 dice for me? My computer's being dirty.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm good with my roll.
It's not nothing major. It's just more so that you guys can see who else around and how close people are as well. So much as you got one success. Damn, sweetie. The dice are loving you. Shit. You want to get into a battle? Go with her.
Oh, wow.
Her dice are fucking vicious. I mean, last night, now today, Jesus. I want her dice roller, man.
I love my dice.
The problem is, Bill, you want the dice roller to do that for you, not just PJ.
True, yeah. Okay, yeah, you guys all have enough success. One was enough, actually. It's not that crowded. There are a few people here and there. They're kind of scattered about. I mean, there are obviously a couple people, male, female, chit-chatting and talking to you. What are they fucking going on about?
Okay.
I thought very many people were up for last night's battle.
Well, Alexander will have been there for a little bit and trying to see if he can't find something for his particular palette.
Adventure picking us.
High or low?
High.
Not right now.
Okie dokie.
Longer you stay, I'll ask you to do it a couple more times.
I walk up to the bar.
Okay. You see a blue-haired guy, picture, sitting up at the bar. He definitely does not look like he fits in this group. You guys are all, there's some people, in nice clothing and stuff, and then you got blue hair.
Well,
Yeah.
Stands out.
Alexander's gonna walk, eventually just meander over and sit down. Is he at the bar?
At the bar, yeah. Okay. The bar's pretty empty. I mean, there's one guy like way down at the end of the corner, and at the other corner there's another guy, who seems to be kind of. It seems to be kind of since everybody got it. He seems to be trying to stick to the shadows and just watch things.
So, heading over to the Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
And,
Wait, Alexander did
Cookie.
his Blaine. That's right.
Yeah, Alexander's gonna go sit down next to Blaine and
Cookie Monster.
offer a hand. Say, "Pleasure to meet you. Glad to see that nothing bad's happened on the street yet."
I'm going to shake his hand and say, thank God nothing did happen.
Yep. Which, by the way, I apologize for having to lie at our previous meeting, but my name isn't Nathaniel. Call me Alexander.
Alrighty, Alexander.
Meeting others in the city for the first time, it's usually a good idea to not give one's actual name and then just apologize later.
Understood.
So, interesting things have been happening. You hear the news from earlier tonight?
No, actually, I was meeting with somebody.
He just nods slightly, and he is very much just speaking kind of under his breath, making sure that his voice doesn't carry, despite the fact that auspex is a thing. But whatever. and so he's just gonna say, well, the short version is we don't have any more anarchs in the city.
My microphone must have cut out. I did not hear that.
Sorry, I was speaking quietly. I must have been too quiet. So yeah, just
I barely.
okay. Well, I'll speak louder, but he's not. So
Gotcha.
he just kind of folds his hands in front of him. He's like, well, we don't have any more anarchs in the city. They're all dead.
Oh, that's not.
Blaine just puts his head down.
Sandwiches, you can come in whenever.
Hold on.
If you're not already there.
Yeah, I'm already there.
Okay. So if you need a minute, take a minute. No worries. You guys see this gentleman again. He's wearing a trench coat, long, like a black trench coat. He seems to kind of keep it, tied around him. He kind of looks around, just kind of shakes his head, walks over to the bar. Bartender walks up. What can I get for you? Bottle of water. Bartender just kind of looks at him curiously. Just a fucking bottle of water. It's that simple. Bartender walks over, grabs a bottle of water, hands it to him. He opens it, takes a drink. Kind of looks around, sits down. Yeah, other than that, bartender will come by, ask you guys what you want to drink, whatever you want. Then he gets it for you.
I'm deciding.
Okay. Well, you do know it
Daniels.
is a Torador run place, so it would probably have quote unquote bloodline. But I know because of your weakness that sucks.
Yeah, a little bit. Pretty much
But
anything.
however, as Torador, they might very well have particular things. Because they like to make sure everyone's served properly.
Fair.
However,
So
that would be hard to ask. I'm not sure how you would ask that in such a public area.
but before he walks away, he's just gonna like, wait,
Yes, what can I get for
you
you?
have a tall blonde lady. You know that drink?
Yeah, I know that. I know you see him look for a second and then figure out, yeah, I have just that type of drink. Give him a minute. He's a ghoul. He's not like super intelligent. He's a bartender.
He's
Yeah,
probably
see,
actually heard that before from somebody that's actually human. Who's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've got the vodka and the schnapps for that. Wait a second.
Yeah, he had to look at you for a
Wait,
second.
hold on.
I think I do. So he takes a moment. You see him walk into the back. He comes back out with a bottle of wine. Pops it open, pours it. It's tall blonde lady. That's what they had. Can't exactly bring out the tall blonde lady for you. Make it a little obvious.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Just walk out, drop her on the bar, be like, there you go, sir. Walk away. Like, where's my
There you go,
fork?
sir. Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Blake is at the bar. He's just sitting and looking around, listening quietly.
Mhm. So looking over it, so we've got Blake and Blaine, right? Just to make
Yes.
sure I have
Yeah.
that right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Okay.
that
After a
is
while.
gonna fuck with me. So looking over at Blaine. So, how busy have you been?
Just getting my feet on the ground.
Well, that's a double entendre if there was one. Well, anyway,
Setting
Blaine.
up my contacts and getting myself situated.
Perception alertness, everyone.
Making us have to roll dice again.
I'm gonna be doing it quite often, so get used to it. You know, you
What was
have
the
all
dice
these
roll?
stats. Perception alertness.
One.
Alright.
Okay.
Another 5 dice?
Yeah, I got you.
Alright.
So ones do cancel
Ones do
successes.
cancel, yes.
Okay.
Except for damage.
Except for damage and stamina. Yeah.
Alright.
But
Just
none
making
of
sure.
those are in effect. Okay. Well, you got one, and well, Blake, you noticed before the other two. This rather large Native American gentleman who's wearing the really long trench coat
Uh-huh.
has kind of been watching you guys. He's not making obvious, like just directly staring at you guys, but it seems his attention is more focused on you three. Except when you notice he occasionally looks over to the other end of the bar and kind of gives a curious look, but he goes back to you three in your conversation.
And was this the guy that was sticking to shadows earlier, or is he looking
No.
curiously at the dude? That dude.
He was looking curiously at the dude who's sticking to the shadows.
See, I knew I was gonna berate myself at some point or another for not having grabbed Auspex, but I was running out of dots.
Uh,
I wanted it.
Auspex, the
yeah.
only discipline in this game that apparently nobody has.
I was running out of
Not
dots.
yet. Not yet. Not yet. I don't have it yet. I will have it soon. Blake will actually do a perception awareness roll, which is 4 dice, and look over at the person that's hiding, keeping in the shadows.
He also seems to be watching you guys, but he seems to have a more I don't give a fuck attitude about it. Like I said, that one's definitely not making it obvious either. He just kind of occasionally looks over. I mean, the blue hair. I mean, you can figure is probably what's drawing everybody's attention because you two guys are sitting next to a guy with blue hair. So it's a little odd. I mean, especially in a place like this.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is the giant Native American definitely does not fit in this group.
No.
Yeah.
As far as what's been obvious to Alexander, he's just gonna look over at the big trench coat wearing scary motherfucker, and you all right
That's his
tonight?
new name. Big Coach.
Oh, he's got a name.
It's like he's just gonna look over to him and say, "So are you all right tonight? Looks like you're waiting for somebody. Hope you didn't get stood up on your date."
It's not even that. There was there's a lot going on that apparently I was brought into. That's ain't even my city.
I couldn't
Here
hear
to
that, but
visit. He goes, there was a lot I was kind of brought into, and he goes, this isn't even my city. I was kind of on here on a visit to meet some friends, and well, things developed and took a turn.
well, what kind of turn?
And you see him kind of look around. Turn of the society variety. He just looks at you.
I feel like I should know what that means.
Intelligence and occult roll for those who want to.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
God damn.
I don't have any occult dots.
Thank you, guys.
And you can't roll. And
Didn't think so.
V20, if you don't have it in the knowledges, you can't roll it. They used to
Thought
be
so.
able to do it where you could do the main,
Okay.
at least the main stat. That they took that out. Do you have kindred lore?
I have Kindred Lore and Camarilla Law.
Kindred
I got
lore.
4.
You can do kindred lore. Jesus fucking. Okay. 1 second.
That's
If you
it.
don't have occult, you can
Yeah.
do kindred lore. Okay.
Holy crap.
Jesus. You bastard! You didn't get nothing, sandwiches.
Oh,
You actually,
wow.
that was a double bonus, by the way. So you went to think and got a headache. You're like, oh god, what the fuck?
Did I see a birdie?
Yes.
Okay,
It landed
for
in the
the two who got ridiculous rolls for, oh my god. As soon as he mentioned society, in the world of darkness, there is only one group that is classified as the society. That's the Society of Leopold. They are known hunters. More specifically, they are known supernatural hunters.
As in the hunting of the supernaturals.
Yeah, as in the hunting of supernaturals. Yes.
Ah.
Their affiliation isn't really known, but they are known to be hunters. They are also known to be some of the most vicious hunters.
Huh. I mean, are you talking historical society? I mean, I apologize. That might have come off as off color.
Yes, in that terms, more the typical historical society. By the way, the Society of Leopold, because you guys got some vicious rolls, Society of Leopold was also tied to the Inquisition.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
So thorough and vicious.
Yes, thorough and vicious. Yeah. Yeah, if you read, actually, the Society of Leopold was involved in the Inquisition. It's where they really got their claim to fame. But yeah. Did you want to do a roll? Sandwiches?
Perception, empathy, 5 dice? Yeah, 5 dice.
On this guy?
Yeah, the trench coat.
He's being honest.
He's being nice.
He's being honest.
Honest, okay.
You can tell, obviously, he's trying to word it properly, probably because there are people in the building that aren't of supernatural nature. But he's not really holding anything back. He's being as blunt as he can without being too blunt, basically.
Yeah.
And if he was paying attention
Can
to
I
us,
do another Can I do another intelligence occult roll, because that's going to bug Blake?
Yeah, because you don't know. These two are. I mean, the way that Alexander is hinting, I'm actually going to make it easier for you. The way Alexander is hinting, your difficulty has been reduced because he's already touched on a couple of things.
6 dice.
Yeah, that's got to go. Social masquerade. That can actually stay.
So Nathaniel's gonna look to Blaine. And,
Oh, look at that. Okay, now you're caught up.
Alright.
shit.
He's referring to the Society of Leopold, to the known supernatural hunters, and they are linked to the Inquisition. So yeah, they're very thorough and nasty hunters. And if they're in the city, there's a problem.
Okay, I need to look at my dice for this.
You guys don't know what happened, so I'm gonna have to make you go with it.
Manipulation, subterfuge. Bill, can you roll me 4 dice?
What are you trying to do?
He just got a wide-eyed look when he
Okay,
got caught
gotcha.
up.
4 dice. Okay, I gotcha. You two roll perception empathy, by the way. You guys need to roll perception empathy to see if you pick up on the fact that he's trying to hide his excitement. 2 successes. You have to beat 2 successes.
I only get 2 dice.
Well, you better hope they're good. At least you
Hey!
can even out. You'll be able to read it. There you go. You're able to
This
read the
fucking
fact that
dice roller tonight is on
on him.
fire!
Okay, so you're able to pick up on it. By the way, that's his roll. And actually, hey, you fooled him. Congratulations.
Oh,
No,
okay,
he
then
evened out with you. He
one.
evened out with you. So he noticed your reaction, but he doesn't seem to say anything. That's pretty impressive. You can fool him.
The
when you
dice
find
gods
out when you
smile.
find out who he is, that's impressive. This is one of my random NPCs. He's here more to help than he is anything else, but nobody knows this yet.
We don't know that. Anyway, so as far as just maintaining appearances and everything, Alexander's going to kind of look to Blaine and just kind of gesture, just using his face while he's got the back of his head to the other guy, either like just opening his eyes wide, like "uh-oh," or giving a wink, like "this we need to be paying attention here."
Blaine just nods.
And
It's a
then
wide-eyed worried look. A worried look because he just realized who this dude is.
No, you don't know who he is. You just know he said he had some society dealings. There's a difference.
it's pretty much just enough of a gesture so that between Alexander and Blaine, since Alexander has already met Blaine, he's like, "Hey, you're on the same page, right? You're paying attention. Cool." And he's gonna look back to the guy and say, "Well, I mean, unless you're planning on hitting on Cookie Monster over here, uh, looks like you might need some help. Why don't you take a seat, talk about it?"
He kind of chuckles at you. Sure. He walks over. He sits next to you guys. By the way, he extends his hand. Jason Spencer.
Alexander Smith.
Do you shake his hand?
Sure.
He's warm.
Kind of figured.
Just he extends his hand to the other two.
Blaine shakes it.
All you're going to notice is that he's warm. So that means he's not kindred.
Yeah. He will give the name of his other. He's going to give a name of his other identity, Styles.
Really? Really? You're going to do Stilinski? Okay.
Yes.
Perception alertness for everyone.
And
okay.
As the guy sits there, what's the shadowy motherfucker doing?
He's become a little more intent on your guys'. By the way, this is for you. Sandwiches. You got 2 successes too. Okay. You two, as you noticed as he moved, it seems like he's carrying something underneath his trench coat. You couldn't see it, but the way he moved, it seems like there's something underneath his trench coat.
Well, I'm carrying a gun, so.
Yeah. It could be a gun. But you just haven't noticed it.
I'm going to stare intently at it. See if I can figure out what he's carrying.
Let's see if he notices you paying attention. Out of curiosity. Jesus fucking Christ, look at them ones, man.
He opens his coat.
Shit.
Good lord. Yeah, it just failed. Even that last 2, if that failed. Jesus, he didn't even notice. Okay, so.
And ladies and gentlemen, let this be a PSA. On paper, your character may be the biggest Vamp outside of Kane.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter if you do not make your sacrifices to the dice gods.
And apparently I didn't sacrifice enough today. Okay. Blake, are you going to focus a little more on the odd thing underneath his coat?
Yes.
Okay. Both of you get You got 1. It was enough to notice the way he moved. It looks like he might be carrying something, but then again, I mean, it could just be a standard gun. But if you have a curiosity, it could be. Again, perception alertness. Your difficulty now is 4.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
Oh, be glad the difficulty was lowered.
6.
Jesus
Oh,
fucking Christ. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, look, I got cut off by my browser. That's scary.
All right.
Question.
You can roll if you want, Matt. You got one success. It's enough to notice something. I mean, if you care, you can focus. If you don't really, then it doesn't matter. And more matters of if your character would give a shit.
He's
Much for
observing, like he's not going out of his way, but it's the guy's right next to him.
Okay.
So
And guess what? You all notice that you can see at least one hilt of a sword.
ah,
Can I do perception melee on the sword?
What are you
Or
trying to do?
intelligence melee?
Determine what type of sword it is?
Yeah.
You can't. The only thing you can see is a hilt. It could be any time. It looks. I'll give this one to you. It looks more like it's a katana type sword, just because the way of what the hilt you see of it, that's what it looks like.
smaller, sharper weapon.
Correct.
I've also seen that type,
Obviously not a
type of sword
giant
before.
fucking. It's not a short sword. It's not a long sword, and it's damn sure not a bastard sword. This guy's big. He ain't
Probably
that
no
big.
Dachi. Probably no Dachi since he's got it underneath
Probably.
And
trinket.
an Odashi is like a 6-foot blade.
Oh,
It
a Nagata is what he's talking about.
Huh.
I think. The smaller ones. Anyways, it
Can
looks
I-
more like a.
Wakizashi.
There you go, Wakasashi. Yeah. That's more what it.
Yeah,
you know,
Wakizashi.
it has that kind of look to it.
Yeah.
You can't tell, but that's what it has.
Anyway, so now that he's sat down and everybody's done staring at his package under his coat, the answer just waves over the bartender and says, "If my friend here orders anything besides a water, I'll cover it."
Bartender
Oh.
nods. He looks at the guy. Water's fine.
No.
Your tip should be down there. Bartender nods, walks over, grabs it. And you see the bartender pick up a 50 for
Not
water.
bad.
He's
No
a good
shit.
guy.
So, what kind of trouble did you run into?
The kind that tried to. You see him take another kind of quick look around, take out a premature.
Really? Do you mind if I ask which one?
Gangrel.
Well then.
You see him hold up his hand 1 second. He looks over, concentrates. Hold on 1 second.
See, Alexander was totally just going to try and, suave his way to get some information about why the hell is an inquisitorial person in the city. If he's going to be all forthright about it and be like, oh yeah, I was actually trying to do something to help you guys out, Alexander's like, alright, well, cool beans, you're good in my book. What's up?
Yeah.
He just pops some noses. Perception primal urge. Okay. Now you can tell from what I'm saying out of character, you can pretty much know what he is. Well,
I don't know if you're talking about him or the guy in the corner.
Hates me. Dice absolutely fucking hate me today.
Would you like me to start rolling on your behalf?
Apparently he just looks confused and just stops. He's not gonna bother. No, that's fine. I'll take the rolls. I'm like PJ. I'll just accept whatever happens. Okay, well, he kind of looks and shakes his head. Never mind.
So, somebody's gunning for the gangrel primogen.
He was.
Oh, how did that turn out?
3 people met their untimely demise. 3 society members. He says it all casual, like no emotion, no, anything, just matter of factly. Like it's an everyday thing for him.
So, you folks were brought in to try and deal with the gangrel primogen?
No, he's an associate.
Well?
I was traveling through the city on my way back to DC. Wanted to stop by and say hi, and when I stopped by and said hi, apparently he had some visitors.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know anything else that brought that situation about? I mean, I apologize for being nosy, but that's kind of right now my job.
He's not quite sure. It kind of took him for a surprise. He wasn't expecting that. He hasn't done anything to get their attention. But he also didn't know what I know.
And what is it that you know?
They have church ties.
Would I know what they're talking about?
He's referring to the society and saying the society has church ties. That was an unknown. Society doesn't make it commonly known that they have church ties. How this guy knows is your question.
So, the church wanted to get rid of the
The society is part of the church.
Yeah, I mean...
That's what he says. I mean, literally, that's what he says. The society is part of the church.
Yes, but what I'm getting at is that they felt they had some reason or enough information to specifically go after them.
The society is usually called in.
Called in?
They don't randomly just go to cities. When the society is in a city, they're usually have been called in by someone with enough influence within that realm of possibility to call it. Oh, well, that sucks. Might have to jump out and jump back in. I don't know why I'm even saying that, because you can't hear me.
Oh.
Microwave is fucking with his wireless. Okay, how do you two react, at least for now? I mean, we'll have to wait till that jumps back in.
Blaine keeps
Okay.
in with a look on his face and keeps listening.
Okay.
You know, and now who called y'all in, to be honest with you. You don't mind me asking.
Who called me in? No one.
I'm alive.
Okay. What did you miss?
Society at large.
What did you miss so I can catch up?
When he was getting into the explanation about how they're called in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he says they're called in. He said you have to have the right influence within the church's domain to have that kind of, to be able to call them in. Usually when they're called in for a specific target.
Interesting.
The society tends to focus their efforts on problematic ones. But someone pulled some favors. It's the only way that makes sense for why they targeted him. Don't know, they weren't doing a lot of talking after, they died. I don't have the ability to talk to the dead.
So, out of character, I have a few lines of thought that, at least to me, make sense where since, again, Alexander's from St. Paul, right next door, so he would have heard about a number of things, especially considering his influences. Would he have heard about some of the particular firebombings? And
yes, you have heard about some firebombings, and here's the other fun part. You heard about several priests being displayed as skin angels, being hung up on crosses, and you would hear that the priests were confirmed pedophiles. Like, they had tons of documentation to prove that these priests were part of a child porn ring. You also heard of a lawyer who died who was also attached to said porn ring.
where did he work?
Here's the fun part. Guess where the lawyer worked?
Yeah. There it is.
Yes. So that would all be common knowledge to most of the kindred in the city.
Okay.
Because the warrior had ties.
As far as okay, so for right now, Nathaniel's just gonna kind of nod. I'm gonna send you a Facebook PM.
Okay. I don't want pirate in here.
Yeah, I'll be back in like less than 5 minutes. I'm going to do a food run.
Okay.
And my computer's derpy anyway. I'll see you on a little bit.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem. Because the first part of that is kind of big. The last part would be something that, logically speaking, he would have been kept secret-ish, but I don't know.
Measure enter.
Got it. All right, and just as far as another out of character thing, that's not going to be enough for him to connect too many dots, but he's
No,
just
not
sort of,
really.
huh. So that's definitely curious. Also, and again, he's gonna get a little bit quieter again, so that only Blaine and Scary Man here. I forgot his name already. So
Jason.
pretty much only they can hear. And how much do you know about our umbral little eavesdropper over there?
I know enough to know he's one of you. He looks at you too.
Duly noted.
I also know I wouldn't recommend fucking with him. And he just kind of briefly looks over at him.
Good.
He's got a purpose here. I'm not sure what. He's definitely got a purpose here. That's not casual glancing. That's focused.
He is intent. Yes.
He knows.
Might you know their name?
That one over there? No.
Figured I'd ask. No, Blaine, what do
I
you
don't.
think about all this?
Stop me. No, I just have to leave. So, not that bad.
Oh, okay. All I heard was somebody was leaving, so I was like, okay, well, I'm stopping for a minute. So.
No.
Okay.
No, so much is just going on with food right now, so be back. So we're just continuing because we got a social scene. Let's keep it going.
See, Alexander just after the couple questions about the other dude in the corner, he's gonna look at Blaine. So what do you think about all this so far?
You're getting a world of information that you're not quite sure you want to hear at this point. I think this is above my pay grade.
Because isn't Blaine a Bruja?
Yes.
Just wanted to check.
Blaine just stares at you.
Good answer. Gives Blaine a pat on the shoulder.
Not quite sure how to take that.
So,
Ask the question you've been dying to ask since you shook my hand. Just ask it. He just looks at you.
Blaine pipes in. What kind of sword is that?
Wakasashi. And there's two of them. He says it all matter-of-factly, like, no big deal.
Alexander's gonna make the not bad face and nod.
You see him actually unbutton his coat as he moves him. You can see the hilts of two swords on either side.
So he's okay. So one on each side of his hips.
One on each side of his hips, yeah.
Okay.
They look rather intricate. I mean, it looks like good money went into those.
Family heirloom?
But to back up, you could say that. He just kind of smiles.
Well, as far as the question I've been curious about, so what are you to know about us and also be associating with the society?
I didn't say I associate with them. I just know enough about them. And I would be the... He kind of looks around again. You see him keep looking over to the guy in the corner. I don't know if you can hear this, but fuck it. I would be the shifter variety.
Interesting. I wasn't aware that you folks actually came into the city. I mean, again, I apologize if that's off color. I don't really know much about you folk.
No, you're right. Most tend not to. There are some that do. Um, the he keeps looking around just to make sure they're still clear, but he does kind of do in a low tone. I just don't feel like whispering. Yeah, so we'll just say he's whispering. He goes, yeah, the werewolves tend not to want to come into the city much. I mean, there are some groups that do, but not so much. And honestly, if they saw you guys, they'd want to kill you. Me, on the other hand, I'm not so close-minded.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, because a bloodbath is certainly not a thing to have in the middle of a club.
Oh, it wouldn't be a bloodbath. He just looks right at you. He's confident. He's arrogant. I will tell you, so that way we solve time and energy and get this all out of the way now. Usually I'm hunting your kind.
Well, I appreciate you at least being candid.
But I'm also a noble warrior. If I'm going to fight you, I'm going to give you a chance.
So are you planning on staying in the city or making your way back towards DC?
Are you
That's the
worried
real
whether or not
question,
I'm...
isn't it?
Are you worried about whether or not I'm going to be hunting you? No, I have no plans to. I've done my hunting for here.
Fair enough.
There were problematic ones, and I will say this. As long as you don't mess... And he actually is wearing the shirt you see in the picture, which says American Indian Movement. He says, as long as you don't mess with this, I will have no issues with you. And he pointed right to his t-shirt. You step on that ground, I step on you. Problem solved. I take my heritage very seriously.
Well, everyone has to take pride in something.
He smiled.
TV.
Well, while you're here, there's a couple things I'm somewhat curious about.
Okay. I might be
I'm actually not from Minneapolis itself either. I'm also somebody that was pretty much called in to try and help deal with an issue kind of like those society folk, I suppose. So, first of all, how long have you been in the city?
A couple weeks now.
So, you're kind of have a different perspective on things.
True.
Well, I'll be perfectly blunt. By your perspective, just how, and Blaine, you may feel free to pitch in on this one as well, but at the street level of everything, just how bad by your account have things gotten around here? Not even just the recent street fighting, but just everything on our communal end, as he points between the two vampires and himself.
On a scale of 1 being not so bad and 10 being a complete clusterfuck, it's about a 20.
Thought so. How about you, Blaine?
There are so many issues in here that I actually get a headache from thinking on all of them.
What can we do to help?
Well, one would obviously be get rid of the rebellion. He just kind of looks between you two.
It's a tall order.
Yeah. Blaine would know when the rebellion is mentioned, they're talking about the spot. because that's what this Sabat's nickname, one of their many nicknames is. The other would be try and find a way to shut down the law firm.
Another tall order.
Yes, but you have ways to get assistance, and from what I've heard, you guys haven't really tried.
We've you've been candid with us, so I'll be fairly candid with you. We've been attempting to try and do some house cleaning, fixing some of our own domestic issues before we commit full weight behind anything outside of our own affairs.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you want to clean your own house before you work on fixing the rest of the city. That makes sense. But the problem is, while you're doing that, they're still making moves.
Yes, it's made.
So you're kind of in a catch-22. It's you really want to get your house clean, but you don't want these guys to get any more of a foothold than they already have.
The house may be pristine, but the lawn is on fire.
Correct.
Yes, it has been an interesting endeavor for the last few days.
I bet. I've been here a few weeks. Believe me, I'm seeing a lot more than you think.
Well, as far as trying to fight this fight, information certainly helps. Anything that you feel that isn't common knowledge that you've seen? I mean, I
The
understand.
one thing I've gathered from all the information I've obtained through various resources and just sitting and listening, the one thing I've learned is that you guys really have no clue what you're up against. I want to be honest, you guys have no clue. You're getting rumors, whispers. You could have an entire file on these people and still not know a damn thing about them. None of you have a location, I'm guessing, because if so, you guys would have at least tried to target them in one way, shape, or form. So you don't even know where they're hiding. That's problem number one. Problem number two. There's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't seem to rate on the attention scale of we need to pay attention. From what I've gathered. Mind you, like I said, I've only been here a few weeks, but from what I've been able to catch up on is there's some questions that still have no answers.
Mm-hmm.
Until you answer those questions, you guys are fighting a losing battle.
Well, as far as issue 1, do you know where they're hiding?
I wish I did. Are you kidding? If I knew where they were hiding, I would just go in myself.
Fair
If I
enough.
die, I die. It's, Selene takes my soul, and I'm at peace. I died doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And if I don't, then I take them with me. Either way, I'm not going without a fight, and I may take quite a chunk of your problem along with me.
Well,
But, honestly, it's also not my concern.
no.
They haven't crossed into the realm where they need to worry about me.
I would argue, though, that with how thorough their endeavors have been in the city, it is only a matter of time.
True. I will say, I mean, and unfortunately, those of my ilk and I use this term very loosely, kin, seem to be a little more less focused.
Even than us?
Quite.
That's...
From what I've seen, they're still trying to get their house in order, and they're up shit's creek without a paddle.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
I mean, they want to help, and they want to get things done, and from what I saw, they finally started, but...
Considering how long this has been going on, that if they're just starting, that seems too little too late.
Yeah, they're playing a massive amount of catch-up. Now, admittingly, don't count them out, because they're quite resilient and headstrong.
And dangerous.
Oh, quite dangerous. Especially when they are given a target and said, there you go. The problem is, they're going on half information. They're going on less information than you guys are. And that should tell you enough right there.
Well,
And they tend to react without thinking first.
so out of character at this point, Alexander's just kind of like, so what you're saying is when I need something dead, if I can conveniently point them towards it, I can pretty much get it without worrying.
He looks, and that's the one. Unfortunately, and I continue to use this term extremely loosely, and that's where my kin tend to have an issue. They always tend to, most of the time from what I've seen, they tend to react rather than think and then react. I know it's part of their nature, but hey, they need to calm down a bit and figure things out first. Because they're going to react one too many times, and they're just going to be swatted like flies.
You charge into a room without checking the door. All it takes is that one time where they hooked up a grenade to the doorknob.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem they've had for a very long time, is they tend to charge head first, not think, and then the after effects is when they realize what they did.
Well, I'll have to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Again, if you can get them focused,
exacerbate the problem.
Yeah. Again, if you can get them focused or make them start thinking more, then they can be a very, how do I put this? I can't really say allies because, let's be honest,
they would be killing us if they had the choice.
Yeah. But right now, the one good thing is you guys all have a common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, whether or not it's been noticed or not, everyone has the same common enemy.
It's been mentioned.
Oh, I'll confirm. It's the same enemy. That very same law firm I keep referring to. They have the bad guy versions of my kin.
Interesting.
As guards. And that doesn't happen without some kind of focus. Which means your rivals are much more focused than everybody else.
Yes. Wonderful.
They're here for a purpose. No one can really truly ascertain what that purpose is, because from what I've been able to pick up on, from at least the alliance I have run across on their side, you don't usually see those two allied together. For them to be allied like that, there's got to be something that is basically in it for both of them. I can imagine with those two on the same side, you can probably assume that I call them finger wagglers. But you can assume the finger wagglers also probably have their bad guy version as well.
So an enemy in concert when the ones that should have the home field advantage are scrambling.
Correct.
They're in a prime position. I'm not going to deny them that.
They're in a much more prime position than a lot of people realize. I will say they leave a paperwork trail that blind man could follow. But they kind of have to, in a sense. But at the same time, they're not so much worried about the paperwork, because if they get what they want, it's their city. They can fix that problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a thing that some of our folk have been catching up on. At least that's what the grapevine's been telling me.
I would say, just a mere recommendation here, I would say that if you guys truly want to get ahead, the best way to...
Oh, shit.
the best way to truly determine how dangerous your enemy is you got to know your enemy. Everything about them. Every little quirk, nick, niche, everything about them. Until you have the smallest detail about them, even as to how they sit at a table, you are not going to get ahead of them. Because I guarantee he probably knows quite a bit about all of them.
Oh, of course.
Now, admittingly,
Oh, no.
the traitor within your midst needs to be removed first. He just looks at you.
And Alexander's just gonna smile, like, you are a well-informed individual, aren't you?
Spirits talk.
Well, I
As
hope
long as you know
the
how to
spirits...
talk to them.
Well, I hope that these spirits don't talk to everybody, because...
Well, not everybody's listening. That's the problem.
Fair enough.
But, yes, you gotta, as I said, you really have to learn how to talk to them because each one speaks a different way, and each one may give you one little piece here, one little piece there. Eventually, after a while, you start to figure out the pattern and, exactly how to get the answers you're seeking from. Once you learn that, then you can really hear what they've really been saying.
Good to know.
But that takes a long time to learn. Took me quite a while. And I think I'm still getting half of it wrong.
Well, ambiguous spirit things. I suppose I can see that. Now, as far as the die roll that I threw, that's pretty much just Alexander also trying to just make sure that the shadowy dude or whatever is just still sitting there.
He's not getting any closer. He hasn't moved. He does occasionally look in your direction. You can't tell if he's reading lips. You're far enough away with the light music going on that with the way you guys are talking, he probably can't hear you. I mean, you can't assume anything, but you're guessing he probably can't hear you because he hasn't had any reaction one way or the other. But, he's just kind of watching the room. He is more intently focused on your little group here, but, he doesn't keep it too long to draw attention. He just kind of looks over and then, kind of looks around. Basically, it looks like he's just kind of scanning the room just to see. It looks as if he's trying to wait on somebody. I mean, you don't see him looking at a watch or anything, but it looks as if he's kind of waiting on somebody.
Huh.
But you don't want to discard the dude either.
Yeah, definitely don't want to underestimate this guy.
Okay. So, after you found out about these society fellows, I mean, it's far less of a somber issue, I hope. But what made you pick this part in particular?
What do you mean?
Well, going someplace for going for a drink, and you decide for water, means that the reason you came here is because of here, not the beverages.
Well, honestly, I get water no matter where I go. I like to keep a clear head. Anything else kind of bogs me down. So I drink water a lot. So that really, the drink it really wouldn't matter.
7-Eleven.
Yeah, well, I don't like
He just
7-Eleven.
smiled.
I honestly don't like them. I think they're a large conglomeration. Companies like this, small little places. I mean, this is the only one in the United States. So I mean, obviously, I'm going to give them a little business. But really, honestly, as you've pretty much figured out, I kind of keep my ear to the ground and know certain places to go. And, it just happened to be a random occurrence.
Fair enough. Well, I can't speak for Blaine here, but I certainly appreciate some of the input.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, you are awake. And he just kind of smiles, like you're just trying to be a friendly smartass.
Blaine just smiles.
You see this guy walking.
Is he still picking his nose?
No, it's more of a shushing thing. It's not picking his nose.
Oh.
But no, he's not looking like that. He's just the picture John gave me, so I had to run with it. I'll find a better one later. But he's just kind of walks in. He kind of looks around. Jason, the gentleman sitting with you guys, kind of looks over curiously. See if my rolls are better today. Yay! Okay. He looks over. Wow, I see it's becoming popular.
Is he, so he's looking over at us, or?
No, Jason was looking over at this gentleman who walked in.
Oh, he said, okay.
I see this place is getting popular. This gentleman kind of walks over. He finds a table. He sits down. Waitress comes over. See him order something. She kind of looks confused. You see him seem to have almost no patience with the waitress. He says something again. She just walks over to the bar. Hey, Tommy. This guy says he wants one of the oldest vintage blood wines we have. I told him I didn't know what he was talking about. Tommy goes, "Don't worry, I got it."
Well, that answers that.
Hmm.
And the shadowy dude in the corner?
That guy drew his attention. And you can tell it's probably not the guy he was waiting on, but that guy drew his attention for some reason.
Interesting. So, leaning over towards Blaine, but still, speaking loud enough that the shifter dude can hear, be like, so, how often have you seen actually been present for a train wreck in slow motion?
Never thought I'd liked one.
I've been present for some more than I care to admit.
And, pretty much Alexander, he's, for the sake of trying to be not subtle for those that are obviously aware, but not tilting his hand to everybody in the friggin' place, he's going to finish off his drink, set it down, thank the bartender, and then he's just going to turn around in his stool and lean back against the bar so that he can see both of those two at the same time.
Okay.
He's just gonna lock his hands together and let them rest in his lap and smile.
Okay. After a few moments, the waitress does finally come back over to the guy, put his drink down. You see him, literally just, dismiss her with a wave. He didn't put any money on her tray or anything. He just dismisses her. She kind of walks off. Fucking asshole. You see the gentleman from the corner who's been quiet gets up.
He probably wears his sunglasses at night, drives a black SUV, and tailgates. That's how you know he's an asshole.
The one from the corner who's been kind of hiding in the shadows, he starts walking forward. Perception, alertness, difficulty 8.
Ha ha!
I see nothing.
You see nothing? Okay. You see the gentleman from the corner casually, moving. Now that you see him standing up, he was wearing kind of a cloak. You see his arm kind of casually move behind the cloak. You can't see what he's doing, but you can see it's moving towards something.
Got it.
He walks over to the guy at the table. He whispers, leans down. The guy at the table just kind of gives him a look. He leans down. He whispers something in the guy's ear. The guy just turns and looks at him, chuckles. The guy leans down one more time, whispers one more thing in his ear. And you didn't think you could see a vampire turn pale white. The look on this guy's face is one of pure shock.
Interesting.
The gentleman just leans down again, whispers. You see the guy put down some money at the bar. He gets up, the one who came out of the corner, kind of moves back so that this gentleman can walk forward. Um, and you see them both walk out of the bar. One more perception alertness to see if you pick up on what his arm is doing.
A little bit.
1.
You see something shiny.
Blaine, I believe that we have something to do.
Seems like it.
And he's gonna stand up, look to the bartender, says, "Hopefully, I'll be back."
Jason goes, don't let
Hmm?
that take care of itself. And Jason just looks at you too. Don't let that take care of itself.
And he's gonna
That kind of confirmed something for me that I was suspecting.
And what was it you were suspecting? Because
That gentleman sitting in the corner was a much, much more older individual than than he looked.
and I've assumed that, and I'm hoping that he's on our side. But
I'd let him finish what he's doing, and if he returns, then maybe try talking to him.
that was the gist of the plan.
Okay. I just wouldn't recommend going out there because I can't. If you're going to go out there, I'm going to have to go out there with you. And if I go out there with you, he unbuttons his trench coat again. I'm not going to be nice.
Fair enough.
And I'm not referring to not nice to you guys. I'm referring to if things pop off the way I think they probably would, that these two toys would get a little more practice.
Well,
And I really don't want to do that. Makes the humans all run and scatter and tear. Those who don't, I have to kill. It's just really bad. Battle around. He's saying so matter of factly, like it's almost kind of scary.
so here's what I want to do, Bill. So obviously we need intelligence here. Kindred lore or Camarilla law to try and see if Alexander can piece together what is the most likely situation for that to be happening, because
Why did the dude in the corner walk over and talk to the asshole at the booth?
What he might know of the asshole and why his immediate death might have been justified as far as what he's aware.
You haven't heard any orders for a blood hunt of anybody. You do know there's a standing order. Any unannounced kindred are to be staked and brought before the prince. But
that wasn't a stake.
That was not a stake. You know what? Since you both caught it, an intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence?
Straight intelligence. I want to see if you can pick up on what it is.
Oh, shit.
Good.
The dice.
Holy shit, yeah, you both pick it up. That was a kukri.
I don't know what that is.
It is a short dagger that has
short,
a
curved dagger
to it. They are designed for decapitation and skinning.
And I'll actually get you a visual so that way you can see exactly what it was. That.
I'm walking towards the door.
I told you, don't go out there.
Blaine. and Alexander,
if Blaine starts walking, Jason gets up. All right. He unbuttons his jacket. He just back it up.
Walking to the door.
Fuck this.
Alexander has, this entire time, he's been keeping a fairly approachable and fairly friendly tone to his voice. When Blaine actually starts taking steps towards the door, his voice goes completely flat and stern. He says, "Blaine, sit down. I may not be your whip, but I am a whip.
Jason goes,
down.
Do it. Trust me, you want to stay out of this.
I'm not getting in it.
I wouldn't be anywhere in the visual range of
it. Once this business is done,
I'm sure
imagine he's not going back to his corner. He's going to come talk to us.
Alright, Blaine sits back down.
Jason kind of pats him on the shoulder. Good idea. Short time
Alexander
later,
will, once Blaine sits down, as a matter of apology, he turns back to the bartender. Blaine's next drink is on me, and then looking to Blaine, as a matter of apology. I don't like pulling weight, so I do apologize. But you're a valuable asset that none of us can afford to lose right now.
you see the gentleman walk back in. And damn, if Alexander wasn't almost dead on, he's walking straight to you guys. He's got his, he's got a hooded cloak on, and it's kind of wrapped around him. I mean, it is cold outside. It is Minneapolis in winter, so.
And cloaks are coming back into style.
Yeah. You see underneath the cloak. I mean, he's got what looks like, he's got. Well, fuck it. There's no other way to really put it. It looks like he's wearing Arabic clothing underneath.
Oh shit. Do we even need to bother with an intelligence roll on that one? Or kindred lore?
Roll it, yeah, intelligence and kindred lore. You're not
Yeah,
sure. I mean, it could just be some Arab. But yeah, there's probably a good possibility, especially with the kukri, that you
I don't have kindred lore.
don't have kindred lore, so do intelligence occult. That would work.
Wait, I thought everybody had at least the one dot in kindred lore.
She forgot to do it. I haven't put her kindred lore in.
Oh.
That was my mess up, but either way, it doesn't matter.
3.
She still got it.
Bill,
Yeah, you can
Bill,
put
you
two
bad,
and two
bad man,
together.
you're grounded.
I know. You can put two and two together. Yeah, this guy's probably an Asmite. Which means, wow, Asmites are only called into the city. Well, you heard there were Asmites in the city not under contract. But in order to fulfill a contract, only princes can make Asmite. Only princes can call in the contract. He walks back over, walks right up to you, Alexander. That was a non-contractual kill.
So
But he was Sabat.
Duly noted. Thank you.
He walks back over, sits back at his spot, and just calmly goes back to sipping his drink.
Before he walks away, Alexander's gonna try and raise a finger, whatnot, try and get his attention.
He stops.
Oh crap! Now I lost the question. Fuck.
Probably the big question is, how did he know he was Sabat?
Yeah, pretty much. I had an interesting way of phrasing it though, where it sounded more Alexander-y.
More Alexander. You can have Blaine ask it. Blaine is not very subtle. I'm not going to have Jason ask, because I'm not talking to myself again.
Now he pretty much says, so, what, have you been waiting here for him all evening, or was this a matter of convenience?
That was actually just a matter of convenience. There was someone else I was waiting.
Psycho dogs. Oh, no, Bill's muted.
No, sorry, I was just packing cigarettes. I didn't want that to be on camera. So.
Ah, okay. So that means you must have a laundry list for cleaning.
He just smiled.
Well, sir, as I said, thank you for that. I'll not keep you.
He nods, walks back over, sits back down at his spot, goes back to sitting. The real fun question is, how did he know who you were? Because he looked right at you when he reported it.
Yeah. That's that was the other question that I was trying to figure out how to have him phrase, other than just being like, and how do you know who I am? I mean, I don't think you heard me from outside, but something to address later.
Mm-hmm.
Blaine orders another drink.
Bartender brings it over. Jason goes,
Alexander.
see? Problem solved.
Yeah.
One less you gotta worry about.
Yeah. One less. How many more to go?
Let's see. If I can figure out correctly, usually they do... Well, you probably got maybe 4 or 5 heads left, bigger guys. And it depends on how many shovel heads they have, so it can vary. I'd say max, they don't usually do too large of a force, so I'd say max maybe 10, 15 more piss ants.
20 total then.
Give or take. I mean, this is just a random estimate. I could be way off. They could have a lot more. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, I've only lived as long as I have through the things that I have by pretty much assuming the worst.
So I'd say worst case scenario, the most force I've ever heard them pull in was about 40 or 50. So we'll go with about 40 or 50 to start off. You find out the numbers are less, more power to us. If not, well, then we got some work to do.
Exactly. Well, I understand that this isn't your fight, but how much longer are you planning on staying in the city? Because you seem somebody that actually knows what is going on, which is all good for right out of the gate.
Well, he says, I kind of luck out. I can float between many areas. You know, I don't have as much of a problem going to certain places as, say, you guys might.
Understandable. Well, if you leave me some if you leave me some contact information, I can make sure that if I hear anything affecting your interests, as he points at his shirt, then I can make sure to give you a heads up.
He nods. He puts down 2 cards, one for Blaine, one for you. Hey,
Excellent.
looks as watch, but yeah, I probably should be going anyways. Got some things I gotta take care
Alright, well, try not to lose your head.
of. I'll be impressed if that ever happens. He just smiles. Buttons his coat back up, walks right out the door.
At that point, Alexander's just going to turn back around in the seat and look to Blaine and say, well, I came by just to try and find something to drink. This has turned out to be a very eventful evening.
Perception.
The guy over in the corner says, the rest, the other people don't seem to notice. Waitress just seems glad the asshole in the booth is gone. Especially since he tipped like shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was an asshole. He was a bot, they don't care.
Well, at least the executioner was at least subtle enough to let him go outside, and the other guy wasn't stupid enough to try and do anything about it in the club.
Okay, I'm gonna make you both roll an intelligence check. Because there's something just isn't quite sitting right.
I apparently don't know
The intelligence.
I have actually botched this.
Oof. Okay, yeah, you just get ahead. Oh, she botched it too. Yeah, okay, never mind. Whatever that fleeting thought was, it flew off without sticking around to give you enough information. If you want to try it a little bit, it'll be a higher difficulty, so it'll be difficulty 7 if you want to try. Okay. There you go.
Alexander's already made a note that before he leaves, he wants to go talk to the Setite anyway some more, but for now, he's just kind of,
It's an Assamite.
It's an Assamite.
Or Assamite. Too many vowels and
Big
consonants
difference
all
between
put
the two.
together to make a word. I know that, and I realized that was a, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So what was the thought?
What would have made this bot man so terrified of this guy? What did he say to him? To make a Sabbat vampire, and the way Jason put it, that was probably one of the heads. Sabbats, or at least one of the, I can't say general, it's more like a captain of the Sabbat. What would make a captain of the Sabbat turn almost pale white?
I'm going to assume I know who you are. I know what you've done. You are dead. Go outside so I can diablerize you.
My thoughts.
But, well, as a kindred, you would know it's something more than that. Because that was, because the Sabbat could have easily played that off. Something he said. And here's the weird thing. It was a one-word phrase that he said. Whatever the conversation was, the Assamite leaned over, said one word, and that's when he paled.
Could have been death.
Just something. I mean, it's a curiosity, and it'd be something that you may want to try and figure out later.
I think as far as the one word thing, I mean, I had already kind of figured he just said what his name was.
Probably.
The Assamite's name.
Probably. That could be a possibility.
I don't know. Obviously, Alexander is just like, well, he's
Yeah,
dead.
you're like, whatever, fuck him.
Whatever.
Yeah. Sabbat, oh well, what a loss. Hey, one less you gotta worry about.
Yeah. So, Blaine, what do you have on your agenda for the evening?
I am going to go. Is he in Leo?
You don't. Yeah, you were there when Carmine sent you to Leo. Alexander was there when Carmine sent you to Leo.
I'm going back to Leo's to work out.
Excellent. Well, excuse me. So, Blaine, you know what the whip does, though, correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
Second
So,
plan is all it is.
this may be only somewhat overstepping the responsibilities of that position, so take that as it is. But if there is for some reason something you need to get a hold of for Carmine about, he's going to be, well, to put it simply, I'm trying to let him do his job by trying to take care of as much of the day-to-day operations of things as possible. So if there's any messages you need to send through him or send to him, feel free to send them to me. This is the contact information for how to get a hold of me, and he's going to hand off a card for his screen.
Okay.
This person that does their job to be very easy to get a hold of, and they will forward information to me.
Very well.
By the way, both of you add contacts to your sheet. If you already have some, add one more.
Yay.
Jason technically is a contact.
Yay.
Yeah, guys haven't gotten ally status yet. He's at least a contact. Yeah, I'll have to fix your sheet. You're gonna have to remind me later to fix that sheet.
You approved it, and now we gotta fix it again.
Yeah, because I forgot. I know.
Where am I putting it?
Lore, we'll just put a section off to the side for lore.
What was his last name?
Blaine's Winstore. Wins. Oh, Jason's is Spencer. You can get up to get one in Kindred lore and then 4 in any other lore you want. But if you want to put it all in Kindred lore, you can put it all in Kindred lore.
What other lore can I use? Gory lore?
There'd have to be a good backstory for that. And Jason didn't give you enough information or would like to go on to give you that Guru lore. You can have it. I mean, but I would make it low because having too high in Guru lore would mean you know quite a bit, and that would put you at odds. Guru don't like the Kindred knowing a lot. So I'd say if you do Guru lore 1, which basically allows you to Garou. I'd say just do one, so at least, when it comes to shifter talk, you can at least roll it.
You understand the vernacular.
Yeah, you understand the vernacular. So, let's see. Because you get one automatically, so that gives you, so you're at 3, so you got one more dot to spend. You can do Camarilla lore, which means anything involving the Camarilla, you know a bit more. No, one Rilla. And it's pronounced so many different ways, so you may hear it differently, but that's basically what it is. There you go. Name's up. Now you got your lore dots. Alright, so basically you guys part ways. What do you do, Alexander? Since Blaine, I'm assuming, goes back to Leo.
Yeah, he's pretty much gonna, say, well, Blaine, as eventful as this has been already, I'm going to go ask our friend over there a few questions, and I have my own business to attend to. It's going to be a long night. If you hear anything about the CDC in particular right now, and what they're going over, please let me know. I'm trying to set up a portfolio.
All right.
Well, have a good night. Your next drink's on me. And he's gonna pass off a 20.
Okay.
Then walk over towards the Assamite and kind of give a little bit of a courteous nod and say, do you mind if I take a seat?
Sure.
And he's gonna get up and leave.
Okay.
Just took the money and ran. That bastard.
No, he left the money. He just...
Oh, well. The bartender got a good tip.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sitting down where he can see both the Assamite and the door. So, I guess there's no subtle way of phrasing it, but so considering how long I haven't been in the city, I'm assuming you're fairly well connected to already have known who I am.
You want to know who I am?
It would be certainly appreciated information.
If I told you, you'd have to kill me.
I'd have to kill you.
You're not. Or you'd have to tell someone who could try.
I'm not trying to sell myself short, but I'm that it would be the latter.
So how about we just call me Joe?
Fair enough, Joe.
He just kind of smiled.
So.
How did I know he was Sabat?
Yes.
I had seen him numerous times associating with a certain prince.
So, was this a matter? Was that an act of altruism on your part since it was non-contract, or again, if this is information I'm not supposed to have, then I'd rather not get my head lopped off for it. But was that altruism, or are you under alternative standing orders?
A little combo of both. Let's just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Technically, I don't take orders or contracts from anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But that one needed to be put down.
Mm-hmm. You only take contracts from princes, correct?
The rest of my clan does, yes. I am what you call an independent.
Alright.
My clan's rules are not exactly the rules I abide by.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, so long as it is pointed towards Sabat or Camarilla that are just a problem, I personally don't care. So, how long is this laundry list of yours?
Just a few.
Good to know. Then, I'm gonna go ahead and roll his intelligence again to try and decide something else here. Okay. So, your kind likes to, or tends to take payments in blood and such. I'm assuming, when you took his, did you take his, or simply cutting out the bullshit? So did you diablerize him, or did you just kill him?
Just kill.
Okay, I was just curious one way or the other.
No, I have no taste for his kind.
I will say though, it was quite impressive that you managed to scare him shitless beforehand.
He just smiles. Again, if I told you my name, you probably have the same look.
Good to know. Well, hopefully I never get to hear it.
That would definitely be a moral conundrum for you if you did. I will assure you I am here to cause no issues within the city. And really, I'm actually probably going to stay out of most of it, but that one I just happen to know for a fact.
Well, I appreciate it. If I am assuming that you know what my job is here.
Which is why I reported to you.
All right.
I figure you would have to tell your higher ups, or
Yes.
some. He just looks for some. Certain ones obviously really don't need to know.
Yeah, he just kind of smiles and nods. Well, then I suppose there's really only two major things that I want to make sure get covered. If you take care of anyone else, by all means, please let me know. And it'd probably be easiest if you got contacted this individual and he's going to hand off his screen's information, and as he's extending it, I'm pretty sure you probably already have mine in that, if you already even know who I am. But
His mom. I understand.
Appearances. And the other being, if at any point you end up with you obviously already know, but the city is a mess. Not just the streets and sorry. Not just the streets, not just what we're trying to contend with, but everything domestically. Information is at a premium right now. If at any point you have some that you would be able to extend our way, it would certainly go a long way to help, because honestly, from what I can see, it seems like there's only 2 or 3 of us that have any ability to get that information.
He nods. I'm saying grabbing, just a napkin. He writes down a number. Slides it to.
He takes it and looks at it real quick, then folds it up and puts it inside his jacket.
He just looks at it. I don't know, fancy card.
To be honest, I'm surprised you actually gave me any contact information.
You never know. Maybe there's something outside your ability to handle that you might want a neutral third party to handle. Stuff that you don't want tied directly to you or
There's a
your
lot of that that's going to
affiliation.
be happening.
Well, I can't say I'll take everyone, but
Hmm.
I'll keep it at if the pot is sweet enough, I'll do it. And I don't mean money wise and stuff like that. Just use your imagination.
Yes, I've gathered. All right. Well, as I said, I do appreciate it. I'll. Do you think you're going to have any more business here this evening?
Probably not. I'll probably just sit, relax, and enjoy the rest of the evening and the fine, subtle music playing. And I will probably retire for the evening. He just kind of smiles.
Well, you've already you, you've already put in more productive work tonight than most have in a few weeks, so
He nods.
I will not begrudge you that. Uh, just as a matter of opinion,
Hmm.
I'm because as you know, I'm from St. Paul. I'm
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing back there was trying to make sure that none of this mess spilled over to this to St. Paul. I understand that there's extenuating circumstances, but to try and keep things localized here. But how likely do you think this is to spill over there?
It depends on what can be done here first. If things get too far out of hand, then it may very well spill over. I mean,
As
it
far
really all depends on the reaction from within the city first. But if there isn't enough reaction, I've seen a few things here and there, but if there isn't more movement, not, I'm not saying obvious movement or direct attacks, but I'm saying there isn't more movement of one way, shape, or form, then it could very well easily spill over to St. Paul.
hmm Because I'm attempting to look at this tactically, and it makes
Tactically, he
sense.
has the upper hand.
Tactically, he has the upper hand, and if he takes Minneapolis, he is in a prime position to try and go wherever he wants in the northeast.
If he takes Minneapolis, he could destroy the world. Did they inform you of the various ley lines and nodes that are here?
Cursory. You're familiar with Agent Giles? He called
He
me
just
in.
kind of rolls his eyes. Yes, I'm familiar.
He called me in to address the fact that there was no legal representation being handled,
Well, the
and I
ley
was informed
lines.
that there was 3 months to deal with this, and that that if it wasn't addressed by then there were going to be some serious repercussions, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything after that.
The ley lines crisscross. They're magical currents of energy that flow through the world. Ley lines crisscross all over the planet. Um, Usually, where they crisscross, it's called a convergent or a node. Um, there happens to be, I believe, 7 or 8 of them here in the city alone. A couple of them quite powerful.
And I'm assuming 7 or 8 is a lot.
For one city, yes. Even one city such as large as this, it is still a lot.
Interesting.
With If they take the city, they have access to those nodes. If they have access to those nodes, um, any powers they so wield can be increased dramatically. Hence why I said if they take the city, they can take the world.
Interesting.
Mm. Not to
Uh,
mention the whole problem of Hellmouth, which is a bigger problem than they realize. Even the bad guys do not fully understand what that thing is capable of.
well, I'm going to assume that just by what it's called, hell, no, kind of obvious where that leads, and mouth meaning it's going to start vomiting things.
It can. Most hellmouths on the planet are closed. Um, you can filter some power through it, but to fully tap into its raw potential, you have to open it. However, opening it causes all kinds of problems.
I'm going to assume nearly irreversible. Wonderful.
Nearly, it takes a lot more to close it, and each one has a unique way of opening and closing. It requires a very specific thing. Um, I couldn't tell you without actually looking at the hellmouth what this one would require.
And as our other friend over at the bar had mentioned, they have help.
Hmm.
Finger wagglers, as he put it. So
Rural workers, yes,
they may very well know how to open it already.
that's possible. But the fact that they haven't opened it yet is a good sign. It means they're not stupid.
Now, if they were stupid, they'd be a little bit easier to handle.
If they were stupid, it wouldn't matter. The city would be
That's true.
destroyed. You'd be unleashing the full powers of hell.
And of course, again, 7 or 8 nodes that they can tap power from. So
They're not all hellmouths. There's only one hellmouth in the city. But
yes, but
yeah,
what I was going to say is with those nodes, they have the power to open it. They just have to figure out how.
If they want to. The good news is they don't have all the nodes. The other good news is they don't seem too focused on that.
So, as far as you're aware, how many people know about all this? As far as
Not many.
the connection between them?
Not many. It's very subtle. Most people don't notice it. Even those of our kind, even those of the shifter varieties, so on and so forth, they don't notice it. Because the connections are very subtle. They're not trying to make it obvious. And when they are making it obvious, they're making it look like it's just a random, hey, we just happen to get together and have the same goal kind of thing. But it's
So
more than that.
So they're all in tandem then, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
It's genuinely disheartening that somebody that has only been in the city for a few weeks, motioning towards the door where Jason left, knows more about what's going on in our own city than we do.
Well, a man like that is smart enough to keep his ear to the streets, and he can definitely get places that most others can't. The shifter variety tend to have numerous ways to get into places and be able to hear into conversations where they don't have to be directly there for. Not to mention their connection to the spiritual world assists them greatly.
I'll have to keep that in mind, make sure that I don't have any unusual conversations around them.
You probably already have and don't realize it.
Unfortunately, it's a skill that I thoroughly intend to pick up sometime soon.
There aren't many kindred who would be able to pick up on their way of listening in.
Even with our ability to enhance our senses?
Yes, because from what I've learned, the shifters have a way of stepping into another realm.
Really?
Supposedly. I can't confirm. This is pure rumor sake, but that's what I heard. Is that they have the ability to step into another realm, and the realm is basically like a shadow of this realm.
That sounds depressing.
Well, I use shadow, but it's about the best term I can think of. How about reflection of this realm? Probably a better term.
Well, that still sounds depressing.
And they can basically, it apparently cuts down on their travel time going from one end to the other, but they can also hear what's going on actually in the actual realm, in this realm. Supposedly, again, like I said, this is all hearsay. I could be way off on this. I don't know, and I'm sure even the fact that I know even that little bit, even if it's wrong, would be enough for the shifter to probably want to destroy me. They could try. It'd be really interesting fight. I gotta give them credit. They're nasty fuckers.
They're stronger than us. They're faster than us. They apparently are interdimensional time lords, and
Yeah, see, that's the problem. They're not so much stronger than us. It's just they have more backing, for lack of a better term.
well, I meant strong, as in it's kind of hard to argue with how much a 9-foot tall werewolf could bench press.
True.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be able to contend with that.
Well, the best way to stay alive around shifters is A, if you have to be around them, um, don't let them know how much knowledge you have, and B, if you don't have to be around them, quite simple solution, don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate that heads up.
Mm-hmm.
So, another thing I'm curious about, because again, you're well informed and obviously well connected. So, how
Been
much are
around
you
a long
aware
time.
of? No offense, it shows. I mean that in the best compliment possible.
What you were asking?
So, how much are you aware of what I've been working on lately?
Not
Personally.
much. I just happen to know who you are.
All right.
When new people come into the city, especially new people with some connections, those who are in the know pay attention. And it doesn't take much to figure out where exactly you sit in the scheme of things. If you got enough knowledge, you can piece together certain things. It's just more a matter of being perceptive and paying attention.
Fair enough. So, you've heard the rumor circulating this, as of tonight that the Anarchs are pretty well decimated by whatever this is that's going on, and that the mayor has called in the CDC.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about that situation? I am attempting to.
I would say it's not a random occurrence.
Well, that's fairly obvious. I figure that it's either something that the Sabbat put in place, their allies put in place, or that there's a plague bearer running around being an absolute fucking idiot. Either way, somebody needs a bullet in the head.
Usually.
So,
I would assume that this didn't just randomly pop up out of nowhere. I would assume there probably is, I think they classify it as a patient zero running around. The problem is, the patient zero may not even know they have it. Most of the time, the carriers tend not to know what they have. I've seen many viruses spread, and usually the original carrier has no idea.
Right now I'm working on trying to get a portfolio put together about the entire thing to discuss with the Primogen. He and I, our connections complement one another well.
I would say that the one thing that will probably be blown out of proportion was the fact that it's only Anarchs right now.
I'm aware. It's one of those only a matter of time issues.
Yeah, if other Anarchs hear that the Anarchs were targeted, they may, because there's already a tense alliance between the Anarchs and the Camarilla. I could see that becoming a very big issue because then it's, oh, well, the Camarilla didn't protect, or, oh, the Camarilla, was trying to get rid of the Anarchs, whatever. You know how Anarchs work, they think on, whatever fucking terms they want.
Yep.
But I can see that becoming a problem. However, I think it was more of just a mere ease of access than anything.
They're fairly upfront and easy to approach.
Yeah, Anarchs and the Anarchs tend to stay clustered together. So it would have been easier to hit them.
Yes.
And I'm sure they probably, if it was, let's say, bad guy involvement, I would say they intentionally did that to see what kind of reaction would happen. But I bet you it's probably already spread.
And I'm pretty sure they're already happy with the lack of reaction.
Yeah, there isn't much of one so far. I mean, the CDC, that's a common, but, I bet you they expected that from the mortal part. I mean, there are humans getting sick, but they all seem to be getting better.
Whereas
kindred and ghouls not so much.
Yes. Right. I have my fingers out trying to get a hold of as much of the information as I can that's available through my contacts.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that I'm running into is the fact that apparently the ME has a particular last name, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm beginning to wonder from the lack of response about that if I was wrong. But I'm appropriating any of the information that she would have documented anyway.
Mm.
In your experienced opinion, where would you start looking?
I wouldn't so much worry about the bodies. I'd worry more about finding out where they've been hanging out, so on and so forth, who they've met that might be new, or if it wasn't someone new, who they've been, who's the common denominator amongst all of them.
Figuring out the trail, narrowing it down.
If you can find patient zero and begin tracking patient zero, you can find out exactly how far it's been affected. Because I can assure you, nobody's found patient zero yet, and I bet they're probably working their way into the more populated areas of Kindred Society. Whether unintentionally, whether, it's intentional, I mean, that's the question I can't answer. Is this guy intentionally trying to destroy the Kindred, or is he just, he or she, I should be
Happenstance.
technical, yeah, be pure carrier and not even realize they are.
I understand that I have very little ground for this, and so take this with a grain of salt. But he's rubbing his supervillain goatee there in thought.
All right, well, can you hold on one second? I gotta run to the bathroom.
Yep, don't fall in.
All right, one second.
Do 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 do. Oh dear. Oh goody, more gossip posts. This one says the CDC has blocked off a large portion of the southeastern part of the city. Awesome. To embrace my ancestors sent to these lands. They have guided me here to hunt for Gaia for Wendigo for my ancestors. Ah, cool beans. Another freaking Wendigo.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. Anyway. Joey posted an interesting picture. It's a picture of something like another Trojan horse. Greeks apologized with huge horse. The nation of Greece said sorry to the European Union with the presentation of an enormous wooden horse. And it was Fry doing squinting like, hmm.
Yeah, he looks. I mean, honestly, that's where I'd start. I'd try and find patient zero.
Yes.
Because until you find that, all you're going to be doing is, treating the after effects, not getting a cure. But I would say there obviously has to be some kind of uniqueness to it, considering where it affects.
Yes, I understand that. Part of so okay. Before I get into the thing that I was going to ask, um, how I'm trying to figure out how best to put this, but I guess how likely do you think that it is that since this is obviously an artificial attack functionally,
Mm-hmm.
that we're likely to have multiple patient zeros just to try and maximize its effects. Additionally,
To be quite honest, that could be a very big possibility.
do you
But if they're
know?
smart, I would say they'd only stick with one.
Yes. Do you,
Because how long will it take you to track down that one?
mhm.
Multiple, at least you could possibly find them a little easier because then. But at the same time, yeah, you'd still be fighting the outbreak. However,
The
I
longer
mean,
they keep us fighting an outbreak, the longer they keep us not fighting them.
I would definitely say that even with what I know, it's probably just another distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if it takes people out in the process, more power to them.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's a distraction that we can't afford to not address. Do you know what is happening later this evening?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean the?
You cut out there.
Oh, you mean the meeting?
Yes. Again, speaking from your more experienced tactical history, how likely do you think it is that they also know, and that they're going to try and do something about it?
That's a possibility.
To that end, um,
Unfortunately, if you haven't figured it out, there are many individuals within your society within the society, who tend to have a diarrhea of the mouth issue.
yes, that's something I plan on once I have bloody time. I plan on trying to beat out of them if I have to.
It might take that. There's way too much information being passed around way too freely.
When the
And
prince
the
gets
problem is there's no consequences for
when the prince is compromised, there's not going to be any consequences. But unfortunately, it then falls on somebody else to then do the prince's job if they
Well,
can.
the city has a sheriff. It has 2 deputies that I'm aware of, yet I don't see them doing anything. That would be a problem I would address too.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I. uh, this is an uncomfortable thing to ask because how how receptive or willing are you to be in the neighborhood of the meeting potentially, if
He
just
smiles.
in case something might need to be addressed?
Seeing as how I've heard what I've heard, to be quite honest, I don't want to be anywhere near that meeting
Understandable.
for reasons.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what is it you have heard? I was thrown into this situation by Giles with half information.
That certain powerful individuals who are taking a backseat to a lot are going to be there.
Is that something that Giles would have told him about, by the way?
Yes, Giles would have let you know
Okay.
that there is a plan in the works. There's nothing confirmed, but he's heard that supposedly um, in the Primogen meeting there is going to be all the chosen,
Okay. So,
all 13 of them, in one room.
and oh wait, so that's something Giles had already told him?
Hmm. He said he can't
Oh,
confirm it. He said that's just a rumor going around.
okay.
But it's one of those subtle rumors. If you don't have the right sway, you ain't hearing shit. Which is why I didn't post it on the gossip page.
Yeah. And hearing something similar from this guy,
Yeah.
Alexander's sphincter just puckered a little bit. Well then, suppose it's
I mean, from what I hear, it's going to be an interesting meeting, but not one I want to attend right now. Not so
no.
I can. Well, let's say I may be there, but not as obvious.
You may be metaphorically or not across the street.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, I won't say anything one way or another. I don't need you coming after me too.
Yeah, I'd know who did. The life of the
Well, Joe, I appreciate all of the help. I hope that you you're
the
really
little.
quiet.
Oh, I was talking to Christine.
Oh,
The little
okay.
pocket on jeans, that little one that sits in the right hand side. You know, a lot of people have always wondered what it was originally created for. She's
Uh-huh.
reading. It was originally created for watches back in back in the 1800s when that's where cowboys would put their watch. I said
Yep.
nowadays it's used for miscellaneous things, but I always used it for a lighter.
Yep. Change keys,
Yeah,
whatever.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, so he just kind of nods like, "Well, Joe, I genuinely hope that over the next few weeks you end up as a busy individual because honestly, it makes my job that much easier." But
We'll see.
yes, if like I said, if you hear anything, please let me
I'll
know.
let you know.
I appreciate that, and I will I will be keeping a closer eye on the sheriff and the deputies because
I'm not saying they're corrupt. I'm just saying they just seem to not be focusing on their purpose.
oh, I understand that. That's what I was getting at. Keeping a closer eye on them so that if you keep not doing it, I can inform the appropriate hammer to be brought down on their heads.
Yeah, I hear that
Also,
Turamir Primogen would be the best to enforce that. He just smiles.
I will keep that in mind as well. So, I suppose one last thing, now that
Hmm.
come to think of it, how much do you know about what almost happened to the gangrel Primogen?
There were rumors circulating. It was basically a hit by others. It wasn't put out in the proper circles, aka my clan
Yours.
nor myself heard it, so it wasn't sanctioned in that kind of way. And this was more of a behind the scenes kind of sanction.
Do you know who called it?
That I don't know. I would say if the rumors are true, then the first place to look is to go towards those who have a high influence within the church.
And I
And I'll
can.
tell you right now, there's probably only two or three in this city that have that kind of pull.
One of them, the ex-prince. Who else?
One of them, an ex-prince of Green Bay. Another one, I believe, is a. He's got a little church off to the side. I wouldn't recommend going there for either of us, but he's got a church off to the side. It seems to be untouched and left the hell alone. But I believe he might have some pull. I can't tell you if I recall correctly and recall hearing his last name properly. let's just say he and the ME might have some deeper ties than you think.
Interesting.
Well, see, the one thing you got to remember about that particular last name is it's very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
They
Their
have
and everything.
they have mortals, they have kindred, and they have finger wagglers, as they're affectionately referred to, and they also have shifters.
And of course, since they're raised from the moment they're born, that family is the biggest thing.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yes.
Now you start to draw some conclusions. I'm not saying he's responsible. I really doubt he would, because technically there's nothing in it for him.
Well, as far as I'm aware, there wasn't anything in it for the ex-prince either.
Was there?
As far as I'm aware, I don't know. I haven't been able to look into it yet. I'm
I wouldn't put I wouldn't put too much stock in it. I would definitely look deeper into it. Think about it. Perfect timing. He's losing his city. Actually, officially, he's lost his city to his own seneschal.
Yep.
It wasn't a Sabat takeover. That's a Camarilla-held city. It's just not under his jurisdiction anymore.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm sorry. You're going to leave your city alone and let your seneschal run it. What did you think was going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Especially he's been over here for how long?
Several months now.
I can't say that I was surprised.
And it's not a big surprise to those who were paying attention. Not at all. He
Well,
wanted to brag about, he was bragging to many people about how, ooh, I'm the Prince of Green Bay. Well, yeah, you're stupid enough to brag about it. And of course, the common question came up is, why are you here? Well, I wanted to take care of some things. Well, several months worth of taking care of some things when you're a prince of a city is very dangerous.
He should have sent his seneschal here.
That was the more common aspect that everybody different.
Besides that, I mean, he to steal his own kind's phrase, he got to reap what he sowed. So that's all on him. What I am trying to figure out is if somebody is trying to call a hit on Primogen, failed or not, and the only way to call those in is through some sort of church contact, supposedly. Anybody that has church contact, so far as I'm concerned, is as of right now under investigation.
And that's understandable. I mean, but you got to remember this: it wasn't any Primogen. Think about what Primogen it was. Gangrel one, but not just the Gangrel one. One of the most well-known kindred. The only other well-known one within this city was the model who got swatted. Kind of funny, that happened too. A Torador model got swatted because someone reported her as being a terrorist. This is a well-known and well-respected model. And then you take another person who, both of which, by the way, who are in the media.
In other words, they're trying to minimize our ability to actually present ourselves.
Bing, 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 bing. I mean, you think about
Shadow War even darker.
Think about it. Rob, the former Gangrel Primogen, was executive VP of the Minnesota Vikings. You got a world-renowned model, both in the media spotlight constantly. One gets attacked by hunters, the other gets swatted.
Yes.
I'd say there's a pretty good link to wanting to, take the media influence out of Camarilla control. And here's the catch. No one has any media influence around here. None of you guys that I've seen so far have it. The only one who did have that pool was Rob, and her name is Jasmine or something. I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. She's dead.
No, she's alive.
Oh.
She got swatted. She got taken to jail, but because she has such powerful allies, she was out same night. She's back and she's pissed.
Sounds like somebody I need to get a hold of and get back to doing what they need to do, but in a way that they can be protected.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a long few nights.
He looks as much. Well, I have to get going. I definitely would start to be a lot more perceptive. Maybe not ask so many questions. Maybe just listen. Be around when, even a couple of our kind get together. Even if you don't say a single word or, you say very little. Listen out. You'd be amazed what you'll pick up.
Well, and especially with what you were saying about how so many people can't keep their mouths shut, I don't have to ask half the time.
Exactly.
Alright, well, I appreciate your help, Joe. I've got my own things to take care of before this meeting, so have a good night.
You too. Yeah, he gets up, walks out.
Nah. Alexander will order another tall blonde lady before he also makes his way out.
Okay. Alright. And then with that, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more.